Welcome everyone to the iDegree workshop on immersions. Very excited to have everyone here today. We are going to get started a little bit slowly here so we can give everyone a chance to join. If you have a second, let me make sure the chat is enabled actually. We would love to know where you are from today. Where are you joining us from? I know that we do have a group of current students as well as prospective students. So this is a unique group here today and a great group. So tell us where you're from in the chat if you have a second. My name is Kate Deering. I am an admissions coordinator within Gies Online programs. Excited to do this webinar today. These are great information sources on specific kind of parts, I guess, of our program, different aspects of our programs. And today we're going to focus on immersions. If you have noticed that QR code on the screen, that is just give it a quick scan if you want someone from my team, the recruitment team, to reach out to you sooner than later. We'd love to have a conversation with you just to answer any other questions that you have or talk about your goals and see if any of the Gies credentials would be right for you. So, okay, let's check out the chat. Michigan, St. Louis, New Jersey, Ohio. We got a lot of domestic students here today. Hopefully we'll have some international students. One note on the chat, make sure you click to everyone. I see a lot of people just responding to hosts and panelists. That's something that I do all the time. So just make sure you click that. Well, we have several people present. Let's go ahead and get started slowly. As I said, my name is Kate Deering. I am very excited to announce a couple of our guests today. And I'm just going to go ahead and advance the screen, our slide presentation real quick. We are very lucky to have our immersion coordinator with us today, Rachel Ward. Rachel, do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Rachel Ward. I'm the Assistant Director of Operations for Gies Online programs.
Excellent. And we also have Brian Roscoe here. He is a previous student. He's an alum and also has participated in an immersion. Brian, can you give us a little background on yourself?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Roscoe. I am a third-party manufacturing manager over at AbbVie Pharmaceuticals. I graduated from the IMBA in May of 2021 and looking forward to telling you about my experience.
Great. Excellent. We're so lucky to have you both here. As we move through the presentation today, I do want to encourage you to add any questions that you have to the Q&A feature. That is much easier to keep track of our questions. Brian and Rachel, as I move through this beginning part, if you don't mind just kind of keeping an eye there. Any questions are open, and we hopefully will see some immersion questions as well, but any program type questions, I will get to those as soon as I turn it over to Rachel here in a little bit. Our agenda today, I am going to just give a brief overview of Gies's stackable design. We'll talk about all of the credentials that we offer. I realize we do have some current students here today, but we do want to make sure that all of our prospective students have information on the program. So we'll go ahead and start with that, but we will quickly get into networking and engagement and then the hot topic immersion opportunities today. And then we're going to hear a lot from Brian on his specific experience in Brazil, I believe. So he was on an international immersion trip. And then we'll have time for Q&A at the end. Hopefully that sounds good to everybody. Let me just get over there. Okay, so to start, I did want to give you a little bit of an overview of Gies Business Online programs. It was built upon three main qualities. The first one being flexibility. This is really a core theme throughout our programs. We are so flexible in many ways. We have no travel requirements. Courses are delivered completely online, including all of your live classwork, your group work. So there's just really no disruption to your full-time job or your family commitments. You can go on vacation and still attend class and not have to stop your job or stop your job for a full-time in-person program that would also stop your paycheck. Gies programs are also flexible and paced to fit your needs with 8-week terms. We have 5 throughout the year where you can take 1 course or 2 depending on your schedule. You could also take a term off with no courses if that was needed. The next quality within Gies Online programs is stackability. Our credentials and online programs stack and work together. This unique stackability allows you so many options to meet you where you are at in your learning pursuit. We give you the option to test drive a course if you're not quite ready to dive in. Say you enjoy that experience, then you can build from there until you decide that maybe you're ready for a full master's degree. And this is all along, you will be learning smaller skill sets and mastering smaller topics, which can help you advance in your career without even earning that end master's degree. And then lastly, online by design. This means that this program was not adapted to be in this format. I know there's a lot of programs who had to kind of pivot during COVID. That is not Gies Online. We established this program with back in 2016, and we kind of specifically created this highly engaging content that you can access anywhere, anytime, again, without giving up any of your career or family commitments. It was also intentionally designed with many touch points and many interactions with your faculty members and fellow students, and includes a lot of collaboration during your degree. This slide just touches a little bit on all the different building blocks, and we're going to just get into each of these briefly here in a moment, but there's free MOOCs in that smallest kind of stackable block there. These are MOOCs on the Coursera platform that you can start with. You can also take a 4-credit non-degree course as that second step there. You could stack that course with 2 other non-degree courses and complete a graduate certificate. And then of course, all of those stack into our 3 online master's programs or master's degrees. It doesn't matter how you stack them. You're in charge of your own path, and you can stack them. You can start wherever you would like, and then you can build from there. Excuse me. I wanted to give you a brief overview of each of the credentials that we offer, and then we're going to get right into the immersion information. Especially I wanted to present this information if you're joining us from the first time for the first time. So, you know, a couple options to start with, which are great if you want to test drive a course or just kind of see what we offer. The first one would be a Coursera MOOC. These MOOCs share foundational material in our Gies 4-credit courses. So there's 2 of these MOOCs included in every Illinois 4-credit course. And just for your information, MOOC stands for Massive Online Open Course. These MOOCs include pre-recorded videos from our faculty members here, and there'll be some readings and some peer review assignments as well. Another possible step in the Gies learner journey is taking a Gies non-degree course. This is just a great way to try out one of our courses. These courses are University of Illinois transcripted courses. They are going to include 2 of those MOOCs that I just told you about, but then we're going to add in a high engagement component. That's going to be the Illinois component, where you are going to be able to engage with faculty members and classmates every week through live classes, group projects. This is, again, just a great way to try out a class and get a feel for the academic rigor of the program. And then once you complete that course, you'll be able to have that 4-credit hour course stack into your transcript. And then if you decide to pursue a graduate certificate or a master's degree, that course you just took will count towards those credentials, which is excellent. Both of these are very simple as far as an application process. We do require a bachelor's degree for a Gies non-degree course. And then I did note the tuition there on the last bullet point for accounting courses as well as non-accounting, just the business, the IMBA and the IMSM courses. Brian, did you start off with a Coursera MOOC or a non-degree course by chance?
I did not.
You did not. Okay, you just dove right into the master's degree, which is also a lot of people do that as well when they know exactly where they want to Graduate certificates. So this is another credential that is going to give you mastery in a specific subject. These are made up of IMBA, IMSA, as well as IMSM courses. They combine 12 hours of credit to earn a transcriptable certificate. Pretty brief application process for these. We'll just need your resume, personal statement, TOEFL test if you're an international student, as well as your transcripts. These credentials can give you confidence and knowledge in a specific area like accounting, data analytics, strategic leadership, and management. So they can stand alone, or you can complete one of these and stack that into one of our 3 online master's programs. One note, we just recently launched 2 new graduate certificates, the Accounting Foundations for those looking to increase your technical knowledge of financial and managerial accounting, or we also launched CPA Pathways, and that's for students who have a pretty strong background in accounting that are looking to enhance your financial accounting, your taxation, and your accounting data analytics knowledge. It also really is designed to prepare you for the CPA exam as well. Okay, so our last 3 credentials that we offer are the iDegrees, the IMBA, the IMSA, and the IMSM degrees. All of our graduate certificates that we just talked about will stack into one of these iDegrees if you'd like to start that way. If you did start that way, you would start with 12 credit hours complete, or 3 courses, 3 plus, it's right around 3 courses already completed. The MBA is for those who want to pursue a highly respected business degree where you'll learn from very diverse global students that are going to have such rich professional work experience that's probably going to be very different than yours. We do have, fortunately, a lot of different backgrounds that are represented in our programs. We, of course, have business-oriented backgrounds like professionals with startup experience or those seeking the C-suite, entrepreneurs. But then we also have a lot of non-traditional backgrounds like non-profit executives or very technical engineering type backgrounds. Brian, before I get any further into some of this MBA information, do you mind sharing why you chose the MBA and a little bit about what your experience has been?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do live in the Chicagoland area. So my experience when I was searching for an MBA is like, I do have many good options surrounding me with, I think everyone's familiar with Northwestern or University of Chicago, and then there's obviously University of Illinois. So for me, when I was doing my exploration, I had come across Gies, and I think everyone can speak to that cost that you see there on the screen, right? So I was someone who didn't want to be in debt, and the flexibility that the online MBA provided at Illinois was something that was too good to pass up. I was familiar with the university, and it gave that experience of being in a classroom, although virtual. And so Gies, the community and everything about it really just felt really warm and welcoming, and it just felt like the right fit for me. So it was a no-brainer, and the ROI on it has been nothing but spectacular in my regard. So I've advanced twice in the company since the MBA, so it's been wonderful.
That's great. I know that's one statistic we love to share is that 61% of our students while in the program will advance their careers in some type of promotion or change their job. So you are a perfect example of that. The MBA is going to come up just around $23,000 US. That does include all tuition and fees for you. We do have a pay-as-you-go model, which is really nice. This is for all of our degrees, actually. You're only going to pay for each course that you're registered for, and then you'll just pay as you go. So you move throughout the program and you'll pay your tuition slowly. The MBA is 72 credit hours that you will complete over 2 to 3 years. So that's going to total 18 courses. It is paced to fit your needs. As I said, you can take 1 course, you can take 2 courses each 8-week term, and that will determine your timeline as far as graduation. During your time, you'll complete 6 specializations in total, and so that will equal that 18 courses. Each of those specializations has 3 courses within it. So they're little kind of learning pods, I guess, 3 courses that you'll really focus in on a specific topic. Within those, 4 of those specializations or 12 courses are going to be your core courses. And then you'll have 2 specializations or 6 courses that are elective choices. So you really have a chance to cater your MBA to your career and what your interests are, which is really nice. And then lastly, you'll have 3 capstone projects. 2 of those are going to be on 2 of those 6 specializations that you completed. And then you'll have 1 capstone project at the end of your degree. We do have a pretty mature population when talking about work experience in the IMBA program. The average number of years of work experience is around 11 years of work experience. And so those are the students that you'd be working on in your live classes and your projects, which is really great. You have vast experience that you'll be learning from. The second iDegree that we offer here at Gies is the MSM, the Masters of Science in Management. It's for those who are looking to enhance their leadership and management skills. You can really have any type of background to be successful in this program as well, because leadership and management skills are valuable in any field. There's no professional work experience required for this degree. So we do have quite a combination of students in this program, those with no work experience that are really starting to develop a foundation to start their careers. And then we also have a lot of students who they probably have 10, 15 plus years of work experience looking to add in that people management piece to their career and to their title. Some details of the program. This one is $11,000. That's going to be 36 credit hours over 12 to 24 months. You will complete 6 core courses and then 3 electives. We do have a couple predetermined elective tracks, but you could also just create your own path and take any 3 electives that we offer for the IMSM program. Lastly, one last point, we did just recently announce that we do have a stackability option now. The IMSM will stack into the IMBA program. So once you complete the MSM, you can apply, and then if admitted, those 36 credit hours will go towards your MBA, and you will be halfway toward, through your MBA with those credits. Great chance to start with the MSM, gain some work experience while you're at it. So, and then eventually when you're ready, you can apply to the MBA program. Okay, last degree I just wanted to mention is the Master of Science in Accountancy. This MSA is great for students that want to develop and build on their fundamentals of accounting, like financial reporting, audit and control, and U.S. federal taxation. If you are a student looking to start your career in accounting, perfect for you. Or maybe you have many years of work experience looking to move into that C-suite and you need a bit of a better foundation, then this degree would be great for you as well. It will run you 20 to 28K, which is a range because some of our electives have different costs, an accounting course versus a non-accounting course. You will complete 32 credit hours. 5 of those are core. And then again, you have some elective choices in your 3 extra courses there that you'll round out your degree with. Okay, any questions on the degrees and all the credentials that we offer? I'm just going to check the chat real quick. Can we take Coursera technical courses for electives? I see one question. So you're welcome to take any Coursera courses that you would like. Those are great courses. 2 of those, as I mentioned, are included in every Illinois 4-credit course. In order to earn transcript credit and an Illinois transcript credit, you would have to apply to one of our programs as a non-degree student or a degree student. And then if admitted, our coursework will include those 2 MOOCs, but then add in that high engagement component. So you will need to apply to one of the programs if you're actually seeking out transcript credit. If you've taken a Coursera course and it's one of our MOOCs that we have in our courses, excellent. You will have completion credit for that. We will, once you're admitted, you actually link up your Coursera account to your Illinois account, and we will see that you completed that, and then you will get that completion credit for that Coursera course. Okay, so I'm going to keep looking at the questions, but I do want to move into our immersion information because I know that's why everybody's here. And immersions are really one piece of our networking and engagement, I guess, opportunities within the program. Often students that come and they ask us, how am I going to connect in this virtual environment? And it is sometimes hard to believe, but we're here to assure you that there's so many opportunities within Gies to build your network. A couple of those are on the student-led side, like your group work in your classes. So Brian, can you just talk a little bit about, I can explain this further, but I wanted to mention that group work is just such a great way to meet your fellow students in your classes. And how does that work in the actual courses?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the live sessions, you'll have breakouts during the actual live sessions where you'll be paired up randomly with a bunch of other students in your class. And really you're going over different cases, different scenarios that the professor's laid out for you. But then when you're actually talking about like the group work or team assignments, you know, the MBA's created a survey that you'll take before each class where you're going to identify the times that you're available. Obviously, this is a global MBA, so you're dealing with a lot of different time zones. So you'll identify throughout the week the times that are most suitable for you to meet. And then with that algorithm, that survey, they try to pair you up as best they can with a team that you'll be working with throughout the 8-week course. And you know, you may have a team assignment every other week, or you may have a deliverable at the midterm and the final. But then you'll coordinate with those other students to set up time to work on these projects and assignments throughout the duration of the course.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, great place to meet your students. You'll have some students, I think, that'll be in the same groups as you move throughout. So you really do have a chance to get to know those students in that space. Okay, 2 other opportunities, workplace and student-led meetups. I'm going to show a couple of slides on that, and then we'll turn it over to Rachel to start sharing a little bit of information on the Gies-led opportunities. So workplace is one a great place for our students. Upon admission, they are given access to workplace. This is a Facebook group just for our students in the program, really student focused. The leadership team and the recruitment team, we don't get involved a lot on this space. It's really student led. They share ideas here. They share study guides. There's really a group for every course. Here's just a couple examples on this slide of posts that we've seen. There's often graduation posts on everything that they've, you know, students that are graduating looking back at what they've learned in the program. This middle picture is Lindsay. She brings her student to some of the live classes because, you know, we're flexible here and sometimes your kids have to come with you. So just a great space for the students to network and help each other, really. And then one other thing that happens a lot, even it starts on workplace, I think, quite often are student meetups. These are student led and they get on workplace and the students will say, hey, my name's Brian and I live in Chicago. I'd love to see if there's any groups that would like to meet up at a coffee shop or a restaurant. And then you have this homegrown network close to your home in this virtual environment. So this happens quite often. Some of these pictures, the middle one on the top row is in Bolivia, actually. So these do happen all over the world. In fact, this bottom right-hand corner picture, that's Suppa. He's one of our ambassadors that lives out in Seattle. He had a wedding in South Africa and he posted in workplace that he was arriving there. A fellow MBA student that he had never met picked him up at the airport, took him on a short tour of the town, delivered him to his hotel, and they really started a nice relationship there. So just a few examples of the many ways that you can interact in the program. I'm going to turn it over to Rachel now and Brian. They're going to talk a lot about the immersion opportunities from the Gies-led side of what we offer.
Yes, I'm going to start with our iConnects and our meetups. So both of these are networking opportunities. The difference is, as an iConnect will also have some professional development, and at both of these, they will be attended by faculty or staff. Next, we have iConverge, which is, Next, we have iConverge, which is our 3-day networking and professional development event that we hold yearly in September. And you'll see there's pictures from the last couple of years of iConverge on here for you. And we also typically have a theme that the program will be kind of based around for those 3 days. The final thing that we'll get into is Immersions, which is why everyone is here. So some of the things that myself and Brian are going to hit are the application process, what is the cost associated, who is eligible to join an immersion, what are the different cases, goals and outcomes, the different types. We have virtual, in-person, domestic, international, and what are some of our future opportunities that we have here coming up in the next couple months to year. So if you're interested in attending an immersion, we will make the announcement approximately 4 to 5 months before the start of it. And we will open our registration about 12 weeks before. How registration works is we will send out an email to all students, letting them know that registration is open. It will be open for a 2-week period. When you sign up, you will pay a deposit, $100 deposit on your credit card. And once registration closes, if we have more students interested than seats available, we will determine the final roster based off of credit hours completed. If you're not selected for the immersion based off of that, you will be refunded your $100. And when the final roster is confirmed, you'll then register for the course and make that final payment through your student account. We mentioned a little bit about the deposit. There's a cost associated with immersions, and it kind of varies on the 3 different types. Our virtual immersions are about $500. The domestic and international vary, but approximately $1,500 to $3,500. That does not include your flight, but it does include a double occupancy hotel room, meals, and then different cultural events while you're there. Like I said, it is a double occupancy hotel room. If you are interested in a single occupancy, that is available for an additional cost. Everyone, all students are welcome to register for immersions. If you are an IMBA student and need to complete 2 specialization capstones, you may count an immersion as 1 capstone. If you're an IMSA or IMSM student, you do not have the capstone requirement. However, you're still welcome to take the immersion to gain hands-on experience. So after all of that, what happens on an immersion? Oh, there we go. So what happens on an immersion? We have a few different things. These are pictures actually from Brian's trip, so he's going to help me out with this slide a little bit. We have the cultural immersion part, which is gaining firsthand knowledge of what makes the host country culture unique through different immersive experiences. Brian, I know you went to Brazil, correct?
Yeah, sorry. So yes, I did want to jump in and say, I can kind of give you a quick overview of my trip. So I was on the last in-person one prior to COVID. I was actually signed up to do a second immersion 5 months later because I enjoyed it that much. So as you can see, some of my pictures here, so you'll see like the 2 pictures with the flags. We had done, 5 company visits in Brazil spanning 2 different cities, Sao Paulo and Rio. And really the main thing is like you're going to visit these companies to just understand the different economic backgrounds and the different functionalities and the ways that they work, and trying to understand and listen to some of the problems that they're enduring in their work environment. And so we got to actually partner with one of the MBA programs down in Rio, one of the universities down there called IBMEC. So we got to meet some of their professors, sit in on some of the economics live lectures with them. And we actually did a company visit together at a credit card company where we actually took one of their problems, we brainstormed, we had collaboration sessions, and we actually got to present to the leadership of that company at the end of the trip, which was pretty incredible. So, and as you can see, it's not just all work. There is a lot of fun stuff to do as well. As you can see, the beautiful beaches. We got to go see a live soccer game, and not for everybody, but I did jump off a cliff and did a little hang gliding. So like there is a ton of time for you to network, meet people, and do so much. So I can't speak enough about what an experience this was. So I encourage everybody to sign up.
Yes, as Brian said, so there's the cultural piece of the different things you got to do. Also, networking, you'll be able to grow your Gies network with the host country students, professors, and businesses. We will hit on this a little bit later, but the virtual and the in-person international immersions, you will also be paired up with a university there and their MBA students. Two other pieces of an immersion are the case competition and the learning sessions. So case competitions is where you apply your Gies education by working on a mini consulting team to solve a real world business challenge. Brian kind of talked about a little bit how they did the credit. And then learning sessions is where you learn through a series of company talks, industry panel discussions, and local professor lectures.
Quick question, guys. Does the length of immersions depend on like whether it's domestic or national, or is it always the same length for one of these trips?
So it varies. So we have our virtual immersions are about 2 weeks. The in-person domestic are 3 to 4 days, and the in-person international are 7 to 10 days.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily depend on the location. It's more of
yes, the different type, yeah. Because for international, since we have the travel, it's a little bit longer travel, so it's a little bit longer of an immersion there.
Okay. One other question: are immersions mandatory to attend?
No, they are not.
Okay.
If you are, so the IMBA students, if you need 2 specialization capstones, you can use this towards one of them if you want to, but you do not have to.
Okay. And then one last question: are significant others allowed to come on these immersion trips?
We typically no. We have not yet, since COVID, had spouses join.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Brian, I had a question for you. So you said you went on this immersion. So what did you want to take away from this immersion, and what did you gain from it?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, actually, one of the biggest criteria I had when I was even searching for an MBA program was to find something that was global and that would give me kind of somewhat of a study abroad type of experience. I actually didn't study abroad in my undergraduate, so this was something I really wanted to do. And the MBA had these global immersions, which was pretty incredible. And there's tons of different locations that they've partnered with, whether it's Germany, Ireland, and Scotland, Brazil, and I know there's some others as well. But for me, it was really gaining that international experience and that exposure to business outside of the realm of the United States, which was all I was familiar with at the time. And then, like, as my role had grown at my company, I did start to deal with more people globally and internationally, whether it was clients or colleagues. And so I wanted, as part of my capstone or the focus area that I was taking in global business, I really wanted to round out that experience and have a better understanding of how the world works in different markets and industries. So Brazil was a perfect example. It is very different down there. Their economy is very different than how things operate in the United States. So it was a very eye-opening experience. And I actually received a message from a friend who was on this trip with me. He's listening in on this webinar. Ryan, shout out. So he also was on this trip, and I think he would say the same, is that this trip was a once-in-a-lifetime experience to learn about the different cultures and the ways that the businesses work internationally.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. So we kind of talked about a little bit of the different types of immersions that we have. So we have, here's a breakdown, kind of spelled out more of the different immersion offerings. Like I said, we have a virtual, an in-person domestic, and an in-person international. We went down already about the days, kind of how they vary. So your virtual will be about 14 days. The cost is around $500. And we will also include a cultural event in the virtual immersions For the one that we did in the fall, which was Japan, it was a cooking class that everyone in Immersion took. And like I said, you'll also be paired up with a local university there and their students for the virtual. The in-person domestic is about 3 to 4 days and approximately $1,500 to $2,000. It will include a cultural event, and that one is within one city. Your in-person international is typically 7 to 10 days, approximately $2,000 to $3,500. It'll include different cultural events within the immersion. You will be paired up with that local university, and you'll go to actually multiple cities. We will not just stay within the one city. Brian, you might have said it, but where did you guys all go when you were?
Yeah, so for the Brazil trip, we went to it was split for the week. We did half in Sao Paulo and half in Rio. So I know depending on the trip that you take, like I was supposed to do the Ireland and Scotland trip where it was split between Ireland and Scotland as well. COVID canceled that, but yeah, depending on the trip that you're on, the itinerary, that you'll either hit different cities or even different countries.
Great. So that's a little bit about the different types that we offer. And then I have some more information on future opportunities and what we are currently doing.
Can I ask one question that I see?
Yep.
Are current students prioritized over alums for acceptance into the global immersions? For instance, if someone has completed all of the credits in a program, but hasn't taken the program capstone, would they be considered as a current student? Would they be higher priority? Can you speak a little bit about that?
I would actually have to get back to you on that one. We have not, since I have started doing these, we have not had alumni. It has not been open, and alumni have not applied yet. So we have not come across that since 2019.
How about as far as like deciding between current students that apply? Is there a priority there?
So it's just based off of your completed credit hours. So when we get the list, we'll run how many completed credit hours you have, and that's just how we make the cutoff.
Okay. Question for you, Brian, and you may have seen this. Did you feel like the 1 week to 10 days was enough time? Someone's asking, Zanash is asking, it feels a bit short for an in-person international experience.
Yeah, I was literally just typing back. So I'm glad you called that out. It's probably better explained in person. So you will have no shortage of activities and stuff happening in 1 week. I mean, they cram a bunch in there. I mean, every day is a full agenda, whether it's like visiting companies, cultural activities, networking, dinners, school sessions, whatever that may be. I mean, it is a jam-packed agenda. So by the end of the week, I mean, you've definitely gotten a lot out of it. And then, someone like myself and Ryan, we actually stayed extra time. I mean, you spent money to get to Brazil, you might as well hang out a little bit longer. So we stayed an extra, I stayed an extra week. I think Ryan went off and did something for like a month. I don't know, he could quote me on that, but he went off and did stuff for a while. So you definitely have the opportunity to extend your stay and do more, obviously just on the outside of the actual school program, but the week you definitely get a lot in with just the school program in that 1 week.
Thanks.
Okay, I think next, what do we have? Here we go. So in 2022 to 2023, not listed because this was the previous school year, but we went on our first in-person immersion this summer in Seattle in July. That was the first one since 2019. So in the 2022 to 2023 school year, there are 4 offerings. October was a Japan virtual immersion. Upcoming here in January is the Houston in-person. March, we will have the Columbia virtual. And that is actually March 8th to 21st. And that registration will be opening here in the next few weeks, actually. And then we will have a 4th immersion in July, that is TBA. We will continue this scheduling of about 4 immersions a year, 2 virtual and then 2 in person. We plan on announcing the July and also the October here this spring. One of them will be an in-person international, which will be the very first one since 2019. And then the other one will be a virtual one. And both those will be announced in the next couple months.
Hey, Rachel, I know I've had questions about this, but virtual versus in person. It was surprising at how just during COVID, we obviously had to pivot and go virtually, but what was some of the feedback from an actual virtual immersion compared to like an in-person? It was pretty positive, right?
Yes. Our virtual immersions, they started in 2020 because of COVID. We still wanted to offer something, so that's why we started the virtual. We've had a ton of positive feedback, which is actually now why we are keeping them. A lot of it is some people are not able to travel, right? To take that time off of work and travel, it just gives you another opportunity to get an experience such as that. So that was a lot of the positive feedback that we heard. You still have your chance to network with students that you've never met before. You are still paired up with another university of students, just like whenever you travel, and then we still do those cultural events. So a lot of people liked that you could still get that immersion experience, but if you can't travel, that's okay, you can still do it virtually.
Hey, Rachel, could you actually potentially speak to, because, and I think you and I kind of talked to it as well, is like the MBA is revolved around being virtual. So these virtual immersions are actually new after I had gone on this. So could you maybe speak to kind of the maybe that cost difference as well?
Yeah, so the cost difference, you're paying $500 approximately for a virtual immersion, and that goes into the different course fees, because we do have that university that we pair up with. There's different businesses that you still get to meet and talk to. So your $500 fee goes to those type of things. And that is a lesser cost than the $1,500 to $3,500 range for the in-person, because we don't have to worry about lodging you or feeding you or any of those type of things.
Couple questions in the chat that I think I know the answer to, but I want to make sure we give the correct information. Houston, is that registration closed and is it full already?
Yes, it is full and closed.
Okay. And then any idea of what region in the world for the July in person? I'm guessing that we are not sharing that information yet, or is that?
We do not know. So we have not announced yet. Between the July and October, one will be in person and one will be virtual. We do not know what the region will be for either of those actually yet, and which one will be what has not been announced.
Okay. And then, so to confirm, did you say the in-person immersion in July will be announced in a couple months, and then the duration of the immersion will be finished before July 31st? Is that true? Or do you not know that? It's okay to not know.
I do not know the final.
Maya will maybe reach out to us a little later, and hopefully we'll have that information.
Yeah, we are still working on the details of both of those immersions and the exact dates and where they are and all those things.
Yeah. Did you have any other information on this slide that you wanted to share?
So let me see. So we actually have, so on this slide, you'll see the computer screens are actually, that's the virtual immersion, and the bottom is that cooking class that I was talking about. And then the other is, I believe, from the Seattle immersion. So these are both of our most recent immersions that we've had. And that is all I have for that.
Great pictures. Brian mentioned, this is a question that I see in the chat. Brian mentioned that the immersion in Brazil was economic focused. Are there other focus areas, and how do you know what the focus area is going to, what is it going to be for an immersion? Did they just tell you that in an email announcement, or is that decided and shared when they open the applications?
Sorry, Brian.
Oh, I just want to say, I do want to comment is like, yeah, it wasn't just solely like based on economics there, but because Brazil had such a unique situation, we did have the opportunity to sit in on an economics course at the university of the one that we partnered with. So yeah, I mean, that was definitely an emphasis, and that just kind of drove then when we went to visit companies, it was like, keep that in the back of your mind when you're doing these cases, that you had to have an understanding of the economics to address the case that we were going to be given.
Yeah, and to go for what Brian said, so it depends on the region that we're in. Is there an industry that they are known for? That is kind of what we would try to focus the immersion on. And we try to announce that when we open that registration about 12 weeks out. We try to announce what the theme of it will be, or possibly what the business is that we'll be working with. And Whitney, to answer your question, so we'll be offering 2 in-person immersions and 2 virtual immersions per year.
Are these usually offered like in between 8-week terms?
Yes.
Or do you have to, Zanash is asking if like you keep taking your classes, or do you have to take a break and take an 8-week term off that kind of puts your degree plan a little bit behind? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, so
Oh.
for Houston, oh, sorry, Brian, I was gonna say for Houston, we are going January 4th to 7th, so it's right before classes start when we are going.
Is that the norm? Where it's like that 1 to 2 weeks between terms?
Yes, it's what we try to do.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know there was like very minimal overlap when I went to Brazil, because I do recall like some of us having to like get a couple things submitted, but like it was not burdensome by any means. We were pretty free to focus on the actual immersion.
So it sounds like our goal is to put them in between, but sometimes we might have a little bit of overlap.
Yeah.
Okay, keep the questions coming. I think we are going to be wrapping up here shortly. This is a great questions being asked. I see one. I'm planning to attend the Houston in person. Do you suggest I review course materials before attending? So is there information that's shared before the immersion?
Yes, there'll be some information that's shared before the immersion. All of that will actually be gone over, Kevin, in the pre-planning meeting that you'll be sent information on very, very soon. They'll go in a little bit more detail of what the actual itinerary is, and the materials and all those things.
Okay. Let me keep going here. I see one program related question, but I'm going to keep going with the immersion questions real quick, and then we'll end with some program questions. Brian, would it be easy to coordinate well in advance with other students, perhaps via workplace group chat, about staying for a longer time for fun outside of the program?
Yeah, absolutely. So sorry, I was just reading it again and make sure I had a full understanding. So yeah, well before the trip, you'll get like a WhatsApp or like a roster, I suppose, of who's going. So you know, I was actually able to coordinate with someone who I had already known through the program to be, I guess, like my roommate throughout the trip, because like you can either pay a little extra and have a hotel room to yourself, or or they'll pair you up randomly, or you can, you know, ask to be paired with someone. So one, I did pair up with someone I knew, and then after that, yes, there was plenty of opportunity for people to talk about potentially staying longer and maybe getting, you know, some people got Airbnbs in advance, but also too, there was plenty of people who literally just did this staying extra, like on the fly. They just pushed out their flights. They snagged a hotel. They stayed at the hotel that the school had put us up in. They were able to just extend their stay. They found an Airbnb. So yeah, tons of opportunities to do that.
Sounds like fun.
Yep.
One clarification, Kevin, I know we tried to answer your question. He was actually wondering if he needs to like review IMBA or IMSM course material before one of these immersions to prepare. That was actually his question.
No, I mean, everything that you're going to be doing and learning is really on the trip. I mean, so considering this is taking the place of like a capstone, is like whatever material that you're going to need, you'll be given in advance. Like I know they gave us like an introduction and like a kickoff packet of like, here's kind of the agenda and the material and some bios of the different companies and what we're going to be focusing on. So there is some material that you'll get to prepare for the trip, but like in terms of having to review like actual coursework, like no, it's like any other capstone. Is like you're going to go through 3 to 4 courses in either a core or focus area, and then you're just going to take those concepts and use those and apply them to when you're on these immersions. And then you know, at the end of the immersion, you'll have whatever deliverables there will be with you know, presentations, and then there was a reflection paper that we had to write, and kind of our takeaways and what we had learned to kind of wrap up our capstone experience.
One question, will there be a networking event at the end of the Houston immersion for students and alumni that don't get to attend the immersion?
Yes, we will. We are going to be hosting an iConnect in Houston, and all students in the Houston, Dallas, Austin, everyone in the state of Texas, you're more than welcome to join. It'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. and we will be sending out an email to the students in that area here, hopefully by the end of the week, with the details of the exact location.
Excellent. Super excited about that. I'm actually going, so I'm very excited. Rachel, are you going to be there?
Yes, I will be there as
Yes.
well.
So we're excited to see you all there. I see one program question. I've applied to the program starting in March, and I don't have my transcripts or my for my PhD. How can I still submit my application? Go ahead and reach out to us. I think this is from Mona. We require a bachelor's degree. We can work with you a little bit on the other degree transcripts. So go ahead and send an email to Gies Online, and I can walk you through that. Let's see, any other questions that you, Brian or Rachel, that you see in the chat? I think we got to most of them. As I'm checking this out, don't forget there is that QR code on the screen. If you want to talk to myself, or I could connect you with Rachel or one of our admission counselors, we'd love to have a conversation with you and keep this going. There were some great questions today. I hope you learned a little bit about the immersion trips, and I'm sure if you have specific questions, Brian's obviously been on one of these. Brian, I hope you don't mind me speaking for you, but I know Brian would be willing to answer your questions offline if you have those. He's really nice guy. He doesn't bite, so he will help you out there. Anything else you guys want to add on immersions? I'm just making sure there's no questions that we missed.
Nope. And if you have any questions for me on immersions, you can reach out to iSupport and they will send all of your immersion questions, or any of those student engagement related about iConnects or anything like that. If you just reach out to iSupport, and they will send them all to me.
Perfect. All right. I think we covered a lot of information here today. I wanted to thank my guests, Brian and Rachel, for being here. You guys were great. Excellent overview of immersions. I hope our current students are excited to maybe try one, and then hopefully our prospective students that are here with us today see one of the many opportunities that we have to get involved within Gies and network with your fellow students. So I hope everyone has a great day, evening, morning, wherever you're located, and a great holiday season, and we hope to see you soon. Have a great day.